to ponder during this quarantine.
It's what
Is
I'm here
there
for.
any scientific proof that there is an afterlife?
I would say no. Nope.
Oh, shit.
Man, I was this close to becoming a Christian. Oh, damn. I was going to join tomorrow. I mean.
The rapture.
The rapture.
You're
So
just
there are
about to get
none.
in. I would say no.
But
No.
as a science guy, are you spiritual or no?
No.
No. Yeah, so
The trouble is, right, that we are stuff.
what?
The trouble is that we are made out of stuff. And at a fundamental level, we know how that stuff works. And we also kind of know, I mean, we don't know how the brain works, but it's a fair hypothesis that it just works by the interaction of all the stuff that's like in this section of space right here. All of this stuff together makes me. And so the concept of like, what happens once that stuff stops working the way it's currently working? And what happens once it starts like disintegrating and, dust to dust, that sort of thing. I just have a hard time imagining something that goes on after that. Do you know what I mean? Because like we are clearly stuff.
Yeah.
I've been thinking like, what if we could discover, what if we could find something that wasn't just this stuff? I mean, we know in our universe, there's dark energy and dark matter. Those are things we don't understand. And it could be that those things are souls. But let me say the probability of that is basically zero. You know? So like...
He's good at catching and reeling.
Wow. You have my hopes up for a second.
Like maybe I've been thinking about like, what if I wrote like a sci-fi novel where we find some other substance, that like maybe it makes up dark matter, let's say. And this stuff strangely interacts with the matter in our brain and such that stuff actually has free will. And, like you could write a story about this.
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
Yeah. So far, that's just crazy science fiction, right?
Now, would it be more plausible that we are living in a matrix?
Personally, I don't buy the whole Matrix thing, but
Okay.
it's possible. Yeah, anything's possible, but it's just like once you create a matrix, it has to be more complicated than everything that we see here already. So it's like you just have to postulate extra levels of complexity on top of it. It's kind of like people who want to postulate a god and be like, well, how did the universe start? And my answer is like, I don't know, it just started. And they're like, well, that's not satisfying. I have a perfect explanation. There was a dude who just started it. And I'm like, no, because you've added a level of complexity above just everything we see. Now you've added an extra dude. Like, how did the dude get there? You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't solve the problem. You've pushed it back a level. Yeah.
It's the fear of death, how religions start, I believe. I think there was two things.
Yeah.
I think it was for powerful people to control people. They use religion to control the masses. You can see that in our today's culture.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's the fear of death. It's like...
And can I offer you a third? A third is there was just stuff we didn't know how it worked. Like lightning, that's crazy. Volcanoes, that's nuts. Rain, when does it happen? When does it not? Like all of this sort of stuff. Like we are like, floating on this tide of uncertainty and chaos. And what do our monkey brains do but try to imagine a reason why everything happens? And to me, that's where you get this.
Wow. It's kind of depressing. I know.
I think it's the opposite. For me, I've always like reveled in the fact that everything like Bobby is a lot more spiritual than me. I'm an atheist. So I think it's a very romantic way. Like I think of science in a very romantic way. Like how can all those little things create the perfection that is this? Like that to me is enough. I don't need a man up top to have created this. The fact that it created itself is more wonderful than any other concept I can believe in.
I kind of agree with you. It's wondrous.
It is wondrous, but my problem is a personal issue. Is that for me, I've been sober, and in the program that I belong to, we believe that a higher power has removed, this obsession with drugs, and I really believe that in a sense because I don't think about it or that's not an option for me. It's like completely out of my, of my mind and my soul. It's not a part of my life. But my point is that without that factor, right, I might use again, and that's my fear is that there are parts of me that believe what you believe, Derek, but I can't afford to believe that because I don't want to do drugs again. You know, because you know, I know that I've tried to self-will it, right? And I tried to control it, and it doesn't work for me. The only way it works is if I believe and I pray and I believe that a higher power has removed it from me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, so when it comes to science, and it is a dilemma with me because I'm also a guy that likes to think, and I like to think things through, and I want to be logical and sensible about certain things. And I believe in science, and I think without science, this whole ordeal with this pandemic we're in, we'd be fucked. You know what I mean? I lean toward people like you in situations like this because that's what I really believe. I don't believe in, you know, I wouldn't go to a church like they did yesterday, like a crazy person, right? Right, that's crazy, right? I tend to lean towards science, even though I'm a spiritual guy.
Well, then we should ask Derek your next hard-hitting question.
Which one's that?
Number 5.
Well, this is your question.
No.
This is
The reveal.
Kalila's question, okay?
Okay, let's.
No, this
I
is
admit.
Kalila. Okay, so